It's called Don't Leave Town. Cops came by this morning, told me don't leave town, told me don't leave town. Disregard their warning, hot the plane to San Francisco did not turn around. To my title and impressive resume, gonna run till I die. You don't stand for something, ain't nothing ever gonna come your way. That's the reason why. Down in Costa Rica, got a cozy bungalow, pushing 60, 65. Finishing my scrapbook when the feds bust in and knocked down my front door, talking jail for life. That's no way for a rebel to survive. It's actually a song about running from the police when I was 18 years old. Inadvertently, I'm not the type to run from police, but apparently they were after me for some reason, and I wrote a song about it. So.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. With me backstage is...
Hi, guys. I'm Aron Schur, singer-songwriter from Vancouver, Washington. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for coming out. I'm just going to automatically say this. How come you are not playing our markets? That was phenomenal.
Thank you. I haven't been playing much the last couple of years. We talked a little bit before we got everything set up, and COVID kind of derailed everything for me.
Okay.
I was in a few different bands around town, and I just kind of folded back in and went to DEF CON 1 and reestablished from the get-go. So I'm just now starting to build up my live performances and things like that again after life got in the way for a couple years. So.
Well, I know our fans at our farmers market. I'm going to get a lot of messages about why you're not
I'd
playing.
love to be a part of it. Let's talk.
We definitely will. Thank you. And I also want to say you have something really, really cool. You have a radio show, not only on Shady Pine Radio, you also have on Portland Radio Project a show.
Yeah, I lucked into that. Out of everything, you know, it was not accomplished by hard work, unfortunately.
Nice. I love that.
One of the DJs that is a friend from Shady Pines Radio got into talking with the station manager at PRP, and apparently they were looking for DJs, and she kind of brought me along with her. So thank you very much, Ann Courts of No Dudes Radio Hour.
Very, very
Love
cool.
it.
And your radio show is called?
My radio show is called Playing by Ear.
Playing by Ear.
I'm kind of just all over the place all the time.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this. Back in the day when I first started Portland Metro Records, Portland Radio Project just started. So me and the owner were talking a lot, and we got to be friends. And then a little bit later, Shady Pine Radio said they want to do an online radio. So we started talking. So it's really a nice family of radios.
Yeah, it's really cool too because there's no direct. I mean, there's direct competition obviously when people are on the same platform and stuff like that. But everybody, when I started at PRP, everybody at Shady Pines Radio was super cool.
Cool.
When I started with PRP, everybody at PRP was super cool with me being on Shady Pines Radio, as long as I knew how to keep it separate.
Sure,
entities.
sure. Keep it separate,
You know,
of course.
You gotta get one of those little plates with like all the little divots for your food to keep separated.
Yes, absolutely. How long has your show been going on?
Actually, we just hit 3 years in April, which is crazy. I did my 150th show on Friday, and yeah, it's been going really well.
Congrats. What is your show? Is it just you playing, or you bring in friends?
Yeah, I'm kind of a solo guy. I had one co-host back in the day who was just a good friend, but it's always just been kind of harder to try and bring other entities to it. I can kind of control it when I'm doing it myself.
No,
You know, and it's like you can do stuff when you need to and not have to worry about when schedules work for people.
This I know.
But
this
I mean,
know.
There's no real format to it. It's just kind of having a good time every Friday
Nice.
and unwinding from the work week and listening to some good music. Hopefully, if you take one or two songs from the playlist every week and you say, hey, that was good, or I remember that,
Yeah.
then we're doing it right.
Nice, nice. I will say, just from our show, we had a host, and then we had the band. And by the way, Part Time Perfect was on our show before. And
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
it was trying to schedule. And then, of course, we had to schedule the studio. And,
I can only imagine.
oh, yeah.
Because I do it all from my house. That's the one thing that's like the caveat of Shady Pines Radio and also their secret weapon is that all of their DJs do it from in-home. So you basically get online training to do what you need to do, but they just kind of let you go,
Nice.
you know, and hope that you don't burn the place down.
Nice, nice, nice. I believe this is the case. You log in, and you're already set up, and you just hit the DJ, and then you're live.
Absolutely, yeah. They're, I believe their radio.co is the established
Okay.
like server that
Yeah.
they kind of glean onto. And it's been working really well for them so far as I can tell. They just celebrated their 4th anniversary in April, so
Yeah, and they do a festival every year.
absolutely, it's coming up.
And I want to say they just did some. They just did about a week ago. I want to say fundraising.
Yeah, yeah. The fundraising is like it's always constant.
Oh, okay,
they,
it is.
They're nonprofit, so nobody gets paid. You know, none of that thing. It's like you make your own generated income if you can do it through advertising and word of mouth and stuff like that, and fundraisers. So it's a lot like, you know, PRP or OPP, where we rely on the listening base to kind of help us out from time to time.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
But it's a good organization. I love everybody there. It's been a lot, you know, it's been family since I've been there. And they're amazing to work with. So.
This is probably wrong, but I'm going to say it's 150 DJs.
Coming up on 150 DJs. I know we have over 100.
Okay.
Some of them are part-time, and some kind of do shows and then fade into the mist and then come back, a couple of months later after they've dealt with family stuff or work stuff or whatever. But it's a very open environment like that where people can come and be free to express themselves as long as we're not doing anything too risque,
I gotta say, when I started to say the 150, I'm like, what if I'm way off? And it's like, there's 25 of us.
No, I know there was over 100 a year ago, so I'm sure it's coming up on 150 if it's not there yet.
I remember they did a post where it was a picture of every DJ, and I was like, this is like a 5-minute video.
Yeah, they do that a lot though. I like how they try and involve everybody because there's always those people that kind of go out to the edges of the group, and kind of do their own thing. I'm kind of one of those people too. I don't go to a lot of the events and stuff. I'm a bad DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I do when I can, but it's like how it is with life. Stuff gets in the way sometimes.
I do. Yeah.
But Brian and Callie are amazing. They do all sorts of great stuff, helping with the community around town and for nonprofit organizations, doing fundraisers for other people as well.
Yep. Open mic.
They've got 2 open mics now.
They got a few. Yeah.
There was one last week. They do like a second and fourth Wednesday, I believe, at High Water Mark over off MLK and Deacon. And then there's one at Rose and Thistle as well, outside like a patio summer type thing. So they're getting out there.
Nice.
And they hosted Eastburn open mic for years before Shady Pines.
I remember that.
Before Shady Pines Radio was like born.
Yeah. And now that you say that, I do remember the donations were actually for doing health care or having some health people at the festival.
Yeah, they're talking about having like a medical crew there just in case somebody falls into a fire or cuts their leg off with a meat cleaver or something. I don't know. I'm thinking like the worst case scenario that could possibly come up. Fall down a hole or something.
It's probably just heat exhaustion is really what they're worried about.
Basically. Well, last year it was like 95 degrees all 3 days. So it was kind of one of those things where heat exhaustion can be a very real problem, especially for bigger guys like myself, who like to drink beer and not water.
Yeah, and then is it the same place every year?
It was the same place for the last 2 years, but they've got a different location now. Apparently, they kind of outgrew the old location.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Celebrate that.
And we had a great run with Red Mud Ranch was the place that we were having it before out in Oregon City. But now it's at McKinnon Air Park at Camp Tasties in Sandy, Oregon. So it should be. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more flat, which is good. The hill was kind of the logistics nightmare last time when we were trying to get everybody in. There's this giant hill that goes down in like 400 feet of elevation over like the course of a half mile. And they were wetting it down and trying to get traction. And it was just a nightmare the first couple of years. So flat. When they said it was flat, I was like, oh, it's going to be great.
When?
This one's a little bit slower. It's called Deep Water.
Believing the things I've been seeing, that demons enter my head. According to you, with your burden of truth, now I'm sleeping alone in our bed. Sincerely talking, tell your story walking, and deliver me from the fallacy of you. Comes and it goes, and it rolls out the door. Every time that I know you're coming through, take me down. deep water. Drown my sins. Deep in blue. Take me down. To the river. Like you promised. Like you promised you do. Take me down. Deep water. Drown my sins. Deep and blue. Take me down. To the river. Like you promised. Like you promised. Like you promised you do.
What else? So you're doing a lot of solo stuff. Are you recording? Do you have any music out?
I'm actually working on. I'm talking to Kevin Netlingham from Netlingham Audio in Vancouver, and we're talking about doing an EP, which is just basically a pared down acoustic type of thing, which is what you see is what you get type of thing. So I can shop it around for shows and stuff like that. But it'll probably be just 4 songs, something like that.
Ah,
So
always fond of that.
that should be in the works. Hopefully we can get it out before next year, but who knows?
Yeah.
Schedule permitting.
Yeah. Don't rush it.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those guys. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I don't have anything to give to people except for online tracks and things like that. It's one of those things where you don't realize that it's a necessity until people ask you for it.
Yeah, I'm actually just the opposite. I get handed a lot of CDs, and I don't have a CD player. And I'll even say, like, can you give me a digital link or something? They're like, no, I only have the
That's
CD.
what I got.
It's like,
Well, how did you
darn.
get it onto the CD? Wasn't it an
Right.
MP3 beforehand?
What I'm finding is a lot of people are like, you need to reach out to the producer and get the track from him. So I don't know. That's what I've been running into lately because I've had a lot of people that I'm like, oh, I want to play your music on the radio,
But where do I find it?
but I can't get it anywhere. And yeah, I need personally the MP3. I can't do a Spotify download or
That's
anything
how
like that.
all the submissions to PRP as well are preferably MP3s or WAV files. You know,
Yeah,
things.
because
And
we
that's-
have to put it on there.
Yeah, that's how it is these
Yeah,
days.
it's
you
no
know?
links. Yeah.
Like you're kind of getting separated from the herd if you don't know how to do things digitally these days. It seems like.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I was a new addition to the digital era. You know, I'm always one of those guys where I'm like, if I can't do it myself, I'm not gonna do it. But now I'm like, it's a learning curve for sure. But I can appreciate the ease of digital files.
Yes, I love digital. I even put out a CD a few years ago, and I did not do anything digital. and I wish I did. However, it was a lot of like signing. It wasn't my music, of course, so it was a lot of signing contracts. I was like, you know what? Let's just skip the digital stuff because there were some things that it was we could do that, but they also have digital here, so it's a conflict. I'm like, you know what? Just don't worry about it. I only want to sell the CD and be done. But it was tough to get it into people's hands, and I had a bunch of people that ran in the same thing. They're like, "Oh, I don't have a CD player. My computer doesn't have a CD player."
See, I have my old boombox with the CD player.
Oh,
on
there
it,
you go.
Like from I don't know what 2005 or something like that. It just never broke, so it's why throw it away, you know.
Yeah.
And the cool part is that it plays burned CDs, so I guess it was ahead of its time. So when I burned my show onto a CD or something to listen to, see if I messed anything up,
Sure.
I can play it on there, and I can still go back to 2005 and reminisce in a way.
Yeah, awesome. How long have you been doing this? You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, playing music. I started singing and doing like musical theater and stuff like that when I was young, probably 7 or 8, around town. Did the musical theater thing for a few years. Went to the Vancouver School of Arts and Academics in
Okay.
downtown Vancouver for a couple of years and kind of changed my focus from theater to music. You know, it was like around that time where I'm like 13, 14 years old and I like hit puberty and I'm like dancing around on stage in tights doesn't seem that cool right now. You know?
Oh, okay.
You know, like music sounds pretty cool. I'll try playing music. And I switched over and went to the dark side and then it was like, that was it.
That was it. They got you.
I've been thinking about getting back into theater, but music's just so much more fulfilling. You know, playing up and playing something that's a piece of you for people is something very personal. So.
Yeah, some of your music, I was like, wow, this is really like some deep music. I get into music too much, but your
too.
vocals,
That's
the
a
way
good
that
thing.
your mic control and everything, I was like, dude, that definitely went you out of the market.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. Before we leave, let's exchange information.
Yeah, we absolutely
I've got
will.
a couple cards in my pockets.
Let's see. I was also going to say this. So you mentioned you were into music early. I will tell you, and hopefully people hear this a lot from me. I kind of took a stand and I said I'm now only doing all ages shows. I don't want to do 21 and over anymore because I felt like we were missing the young crowd. Guess what? All of my shows,
Better
not
turnouts.
one young 21
Really?
or under came out. I was like, I was just passionate about bringing it to the kids, but yeah.
That's funny because I feel like that was a good move, you know, strategy wise.
I thought it was. I was expecting like
'Cause-
every show there were going to be 12 kids, and they were
Well,
like, "Wow, I can never get into concerts. Thank you so much." And
There's a
that
concert I
nothing.
can go to. Yeah, because it seems like after you turn 21, you can go wherever you want. You can drink and stuff, and it's like
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of the fun, you know, the treasure hunt type of feeling out of it, where you go see a good show and you're like, yeah, this guy's just playing at the bar.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, when you're 18, 19 years old, it's still like you're part of a secret club when you go to
Sure.
see shows and stuff.
Sure. So yeah, I've kind of ditched that all ages things. It could be all ages or 21, but I was expecting it to be a little bit more for the all ages.
I feel like that would have gone. I'm surprised that didn't go over.
Yeah, or you know what could be is all of my friends and everybody's over 21 and I don't know anybody under. So that was probably
Whippersnappers.
the biggest miss was I didn't reach out to that audience well. I would post in like groups and stuff and expecting like some, you know,
I don't get a lot of feedback from posting because I post everywhere for like the show promos and things like
Yeah.
that. If I'm playing on gig or something like that, I post everywhere, and I don't know if it's the Facebook and Instagram algorithms
it is.
nowadays, but nobody sees it.
No. I will say this.
I take it personally.
I've had posts and it was like a big announcement and nothing happened and
You get like 3 likes.
yeah, and come to find out like you post too much and then they back you off, or you don't post for a while and they really put you up front. So I will say I'm not really going to get into like that part of it. So I'm just
Understandable.
posting and just doing whatever. But a lot of my friends,
I never really figured out the way to do it right either. You know, I'm just kind of hoping and kind of throwing things at a dartboard and hoping they make it.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope you see it. It's okay if you don't, but a lot of my friends, they're like, I can't post until noon because then that's when the algorithm
when the people
resets.
will
And
see
I'm
it.
like, I'm just getting home, and I'm like, I got to put this flyer out, post, go to bed.
Yeah, you do it before you forget about it.
Right?
That's the way I do it most of the time. I'm like, oh, I got to do this before I get into something else, and then completely forget all about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I have a bunch of people that help me out with stuff that I do that really, really brings attention. And it's more of their platform that gets all the attention, and my thing, it's just shared. So
That's cool.
yeah, yeah. I gotta say thank you to a lot of people. One, Money Muscle Productions. I'll post stuff about the farmers market, and
No,
they're
sure.
reposting it. I'm like, wow, that's
Good looking
awesome.
out.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
really
a big deal
awesome
these
that you
days.
do.
People don't realize sometimes that a little bit of help,
Goes a long way.
then their friends see it, as opposed to just the 5 or 10 friends that see it without the algorithm letting
Yep.
you get it out to more people. It's just
Yeah.
kind of, you got to do everything these days, And I know you know it too, as like a show holder and somebody who does their own kind of digital media platform. It's like you just kind of got to do it because you want to do it, not because you expect everybody to see it.
Correct.
It's a labor of love and a passion sometimes more than anything. So
It is, and I will say, from the beginning, I was really trying to get people to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and then all of a sudden one day I was posting, and it was like very, very few, and I was speaking to people, and they're like, "Yeah, they changed it to where they want you to pay for people to see it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well,
yeah, I'm good with that.
yeah, that's the end of free advertising."
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure there'll be certain ways, because there always are certain ways to kind of go through loopholes and
Yes.
get around it. But I don't claim to be savvy enough to know all those until
Yeah.
after the fact. Usually, I hear it from word of mouth from other people that know more than me.
Yeah, I am guilty of this. I will go out to a show and I will enjoy the whole thing. I'll run sound or do something, and then at the end of the night, I'm like, I didn't take one photo. I have nothing to show for it the next day. And
So bad at that.
yeah,
Like nowadays at gigs, I will go and purposely take a few, at least of like the surroundings and the people and maybe the stage or something like that, just to kind of, even if I don't post them,
yeah,
just to kind of say, hey, I was there. I do exist.
yeah. I really get into shows too much where I totally forget about the job, which is sad, and I apologize. I'm gonna work on that.
But that's good though too. If it's something that you love to do, what do they say? Choose something you love and you'll never work a day in your
I
life.
gotta say, that's how it feels. Yeah, I will do the farmers market is probably about a 10-hour job. It feels like it goes by like that. And
I've seen the setup on the posts and things that you do, and you guys don't mess around.
Thank you.
I've played the Vancouver Farmers Market a few times, and they're just kind of like, they set up a tent. That's it.
Yeah, and most people do, and it's because of my background in the music part that I wanted to bring it. But yeah, for the farmers market, we set up the tent. I am your sound engineer. I have the wireless mics. I have the wireless quarter-inch for your keys or your guitar. So not to get too much into this, but I gate the mics.
Absolutely.
I put the high pass filter. So there's a lot of extra that we put on there.
And let me say, as a longtime musician, that a lot of people go through the motions, but when you have somebody that knows what they're doing, it's evident and it's appreciative, very much so, more than anything. Like that, I always run into people that are just kind of like floating through, and don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
And stuff. But it's like when you
I
know
was
somebody
there.
that's
Yeah, I was absolutely there.
We're all
Yeah.
there at some point or another.
Yep.
But you're very with it, and you're on top of everything, and you're very professional, and your setups are always very professional.
I appreciate
And
that.
I've said this to you before, but I thank you so much for everything that you do for local music. It's
1,000 thank yous.
it's a tireless journey sometimes. I know from being on the other side of it, but it's something that if we didn't have people like you, it'd be a lot less sunny.
Okay, I appreciate that. The one thing that got me going, I went to one show and I kept hearing the mic on the P's and B's. And I was like, how do you get the P's and B's to stop? And one engineer's like, oh, you need to do this. And I was like,
yeah, I don't know.
oh,
what
I
else.
learned. Yeah. So I was,
Then you were hooked.
yeah, I was taught by a bunch of people, and I appreciate all of them that helped me get to where I am. Most all of the stuff that I do is actually just in the technology. It's pushing a button now. So
And that's crazy to me because I remember when it wasn't that easy. You know,
Yeah.
like they didn't have all that technology on board in the products where you're like, well, I need this and I need these 3 things too because these plug into that and
Yep.
make it from not feeding back, you know, and make it so I can broadcast wider range and, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean.
no, I know exactly what you mean. I was on an analog board, and I would put high pass filters on, and I would do all these things, and I could control somewhat. But I keep bragging about this digital mixer. It's seriously just pushing the buttons that I want, knowing what buttons to push. Don't get me wrong, but pushing these buttons, I'm like, this is so simple now.
All right, you might have just talked me into it because I seriously still have like my old MX Eurorack Behringer mixer from like, what, 2003 or something like that. That's actually what I use on my studio PC when I do my show for the levels and things like that. Because you can't really work that through a Focus, right? It's just got
Yeah,
the gain levels, and that's about it. So
I was on a Behringer 32 analog and
32X.
32X.
Hey,
And I loved it, and
it's a good
now-
board.
Now that I went digital and I could like take my iPad in front of house and listen to it, and then go right up to the monitors, ring out the monitors, I'm like, this life is good.
Why would you even go back?
Sorry, I keep talking about this. I just love sound.
I think it's amazing. You know, I mean, seeing the transition because I think back to the old way, and it was all like rotary phones with cords. You know, and now you're like, I'm the
Cords.
guy where like I'll get a new computer and I won't use half the things on the computer because I'm not savvy enough to know that it's smart, you know, enough to do all these things.
This one is called Chasing Swells.
Who thought, son, if I tell me all your thoughts on suicide? Tell me all your thoughts on what we do and then we die. A gentleman with a journeyman inside. Oh, can you feel it digging in my brain? Driving me insane, taking me through hell. I'm chasing swells. Who thought, son, if I tell me all your thoughts on why we try? Tell me all your thoughts on what we do and then we die. A journeyman with a gentleman inside. Oh, I can feel it digging in my skull. And it's taking me through hell. Sat on a road I can tell. I'm chasing swells. Son, if I tell me all your thoughts on why we try. Tell me all your thoughts on what we do and then we die. A journeyman with a gentleman inside.
Ooh. Can you feel it with me? Digging in my brain. And it's making me insane. What gonna take on yourself? Chasing swells. Same with like my phone. I just got a new phone a couple years ago, right? I just got a new phone a couple years ago. And I'm still at the point where like whenever I'm doing something, I'm like, I didn't know it could do that. It just did that for me.
Yes.
You know, yeah. Because with the old stuff, I was like, well, this is fine. I don't need anything more than this. You know, this works great. And little did I know I was missing out on a whole colorful world of technology.
I just went through that same thing. I had an Android. I was like, this works fine. I don't need anything more. And a whole bunch of people are, you gotta get an iPhone, you gotta get an iPhone. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Well, finally there was an iPhone for $400. I'm like, I'll chance it for $400.
And affordable, yeah.
Yeah, and
Somewhat.
then I started doing video, and I'm like, oh, I don't need the camera anymore.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is iPhone 14, and I just
See, I don't feel like Samsung upped their game as much as they said with the cameras, because they're like, oh, the camera, it's amazing, and you can zoom in from back in the crowd at the concert and see the guy's face. I can zoom in 100 times on my camera. Doesn't mean it looks good when I do it.
yeah.
You know, I actually tried to do that not too. We went up to Falls Creek a few weeks ago, my brothers and I, to do a hike, and they went up to the higher part and were like, take pictures of us on the falls. And I'm afraid of heights, so I didn't do it. But I was zooming in on my phone, and I'm like, wow, I can get pictures, but their faces are like blurred. It looks like something out of a horror movie or something.
Gotcha.
So I'm impressed with the iPhone technology. My best buddy's got a brand new iPhone, and he absolutely loves it.
We shoot in 4K, and I want to say there is another phone, not iPhone, that is shooting in 8K. I just saw someone post a video that said 8K. I'm like, I'm already behind. This is probably like 2 years old or something.
That's how
but
it
I'm
is
already
with tech,
behind.
though. I mean, because 4K has been around for a few years, I suppose.
Yes, I just got
But I'm
into
just
it.
kind of, I'm just getting there too. I just bought a TV that has 4K like a year ago. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
It really is
But
amazing.
you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Poor choice of words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Let's see. We have not talked about music at all.
I got one more for you. It's called Halfway Home. Last night in New York, the bitter eastern cold cements me inside my hotel room, chills my very soul. It's been a great adventure that led me down this path. Now I seek deliverance and I return at last. Outside on frozen city streets, happy people smile hello. It's a city that never sleeps, well, it's got an afterglow. Everything has come to pass, and now all I see is you. So I need your angel face to help me race on through. 'Cause it's not home without you here. It's not safe without you near me. I gone, lose control. I'm halfway home. It's not home without you here. It's not safe without you near me. I'm gone, lose control. I'm halfway home.
Anything that you have coming up? Anything that you want to talk about? I'm sure you want to talk about Shady Pine and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
all
I
those
love
guys.
I love Shady Pines. Everything Shady Pines. We just got done with the Best of Portland voting round
Nice.
for Willamette Week. We were nominated for Best Radio Station again
Oh,
this year.
congrats.
So is Portland Radio Project for the first time as well.
I did see their post.
But OPB, I guess, is not in the running this year. So we're just kind of trying to get all the momentum for both platforms
Sure.
as much as we can and say, hey, if you
Yeah,
like us,
vote.
now's the time.
Nice.
Voting actually closed yesterday, or else I would give a big plug for it. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm playing a solo. Well, it's kind of an ensemble show with Colin Rainey from Part Time Perfect and Ray from Part Time Perfect as well. At Oni's Pizza Parlor on August 10th, we're doing like a 7 to 10 type of thing for everybody that's down there on Highway 101 coming into Seaside. So
Nice. Do you have
Should
a
be a lot of
poster
fun.
for that?
not
Electronic
yet, but I
poster?
will send you something
Yeah,
as soon as
please
I get
send
it.
it.
We were just talking with the owner Anna Hicks about putting stuff out, so she told me to wait a little bit longer to get it closer to the gig date first.
Gotcha.
Also, I'm playing bass, sitting in with Chris Carpenter and the Collective for Sandy's Fair and Feast on July 13th. That should be a lot of fun. Just kind of lucked into the gig.
Nice.
They had somebody that couldn't play bass, another friend, and I just kind of fell into it. So we've been practicing for a couple weeks for that. Should be a really good show.
Nice. One thing that I will say about Part Time Perfect, probably the most memorable thing that I will say, we were setting up in the studio, and he's putting together the drum kit, and he goes, "Oh, and get the frying pan."
Yeah. Yes. Well, and it was an accident too. The first time he used, because he had left the one drum that he needed in the car that his wife had, or something like that night. And he's like, I don't know when to do that drum. I need that drum for this song. And of course, there was like a cast iron frying pan somewhere in the garage, and he's like, I'll be right back. And he got it to fit on the snare stand, and it was all gripped by the drum stand and everything like it was meant to be. And so now, every time that song gets played, frying pan comes out.
Yeah, and it is a very signature sound that I gotta say, it has to be in that sound. It has to be in the song. Yeah,
I'm surprised because now that you have heard it, you can't go
can't
back.
unhear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't go back. So kudos, Ray. You know what you're doing.
And then
Then we can make some eggs.
right. And then a buddy of mine was doing a TV show in Vancouver or something. I stopped by. I even forget what we're doing. And there you guys are setting up. And I go, frying pan.
Yes.
That was Northwest Talent Spotlight.
Oh, awesome. Bobby
yeah,
Pete.
yeah, when you guys were on the show then. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that was Andy Matson was hosting as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Bobby's everywhere now. It seems like he's doing
Yeah, he
motocross and filming concerts and everything.
Yeah, yeah, he stays busy. Holy cow! He's also part of Unpause. He's
That's
the
right.
drummer. Yeah,
I have not yet gotten to see them, but I know it's going to be a good show.
I did. I did a show with them in Portland, and did I know that he was in there? Just all of a sudden, I see Bobby, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Bobby." He goes, "Yeah, I'm drumming for Unpause." I was like, "Wow, okay, great."
And I saw ads for them before I knew he was a part of that too. So I was like, oh man, well now I gotta promote. I gotta tell people about Unpause. Because if Bobby's playing drums in a band, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, and I remember some shows before then when we were shutting down and he would get on the drums and play. But I thought he was just goofing off. I didn't know he was playing.
I didn't know he even played drums
Yeah.
until I saw that he was in the band, and I'm like, well, what else don't I know? Why is that
Right,
not surprising?
Why not?
But yeah, everything he does is good. So
Yeah, he has a great eye. And he also, for one event that we did together, he brought out his Behringer 32. That's when I first actually got to be in front of that board, and wow.
I
that
couldn't
was-
believe that when they had presets that you could save on that. I freaked out. I was like, no. Let me leave the room and come back in, and you do that again. And make sure this is real.
Yeah, that was exactly what he showed me. It was either Southern Sons or it was Macy Guard Band, but he just pulls it up and he goes boom, and then all the faders go. I was loving it.
They're ready to go. Yeah,
was really
I still
awesome.
can't believe that. I must just be getting old or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a childlike state of wonder all the time. Who knows? It's hard to say. It's impressive either way.
It's very impressive, especially if you're dealing with the same band over and over again, or multiple bands and just key it up. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. My buddy Tim Denny, I couldn't believe that at the Sun Valley Jazz Festival probably about 10 years ago when he was like, oh, check this out. Beep, boop, boop, on his iPad, just like you were doing when you were setting levels. And I'm like, I'm touching levels on it just to make sure he's not pulling
Right,
my leg.
goofing? Yeah.
No, that's not real.
Yeah, this was all the vocals with compression, with all the effects, the drums, EQ'd, even the sends for the monitors, the levels and everything, just one button. So that hour of getting them set up, once you do one sound check, if it's the same room,
Don't need to worry about it.
don't need to worry about it.
That's so big. I'm that guy too that I run into the same problem every time because I should have known better, but I don't. That's the story of my life, I suppose.
It feels like cheating. When you hit that button, I'm like, you're cheating now. Yeah.
Well, all of the stuff, like the wireless plug-in that you gave me for
Yeah.
the guitar, I'm just like, no. I'm the guy that doesn't use a capo because I'm like, I should be able to transpose this key.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Like I shouldn't be doing that. I have a capo in my case. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's just easier to do it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
But I struggle sometimes internally with what's easy and what I feel like
hear
is
you.
right.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if I'm going to do something, I have to earn it. So I know
Yeah.
exactly
And
what you mean.
Maybe it's just making that transition from the analog to the digital as we both kind of have, over the years. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's an amazing world, and it's got a lot of great things that I have yet to discover. So.
Yeah, and then just think about what else is going to come that we can't even think about right now.
I'm still just getting over this is 10-year-old technology, and I'm like, it's in the computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the iPad for mixing. Only because when I used to on the analog, I would have to make adjustments and then go to one side of the room and then go, okay, yeah, I heard it, and then
Listen
move
to
over
it
here.
with the board.
Yeah. So now to walk around with this, even when they're like, I need a little bit more mic in the monitor, I could go right up to the monitor and just bring it up a little bit so I can hear it. And go, okay, we're not getting feedback and we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love those people. The old story about the soundboard at the gig where you leave 2 channels with nothing on them so the people come over to you and talk in your ear. And they're like,
Yes.
you can adjust that and make it sound how you think it should sound, and then we'll leave it like that just so they can kind of have their way.
So I don't want to admit this, but
I won't tell anybody.
I did have a couple channels that when they would go, oh, I can't hear it, and I would pull it up, and they go, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. and I totally get it because even, once you get all the mix done, you go out somewheres and then it's like, oh, you know what, that
It
needs
might
to be
not
fixed.
travel to all parts of the
Yeah.
room.
So,
for sure.
but it's definitely an art, and I love it.
And I'm half deaf sometimes, it seems like, too. Like, to where I will hear things differently than other people and not notice until they tell me. I don't know if it's just because I'm standing, like you said, in a different part of the room, you know, or what have you. But I just kind of always, you got to always at least take somebody else's opinion into account, even
Yes.
if it turns out where they might be less than accurate.
Yes, yeah, and the electric guitar wanting to be up riding higher than the mix, we got to stop that.
Yeah, see, that's why I just kind of assume everybody else. I'll ask everybody else in the room before I'm like, no, I'm good. You know, because sometimes I might be a little bit too loud or something like that. And the fact that I didn't wear earplugs every gig, you know, for the past 20, 25 years, it's like I'm sure that has taken its toll.
I would mix this one particular metal band, and I knew this guitarist would do it every time. So, you know, planning ahead, I'd bring his fader way down, so he's cranking it up.
You'd max it up.
Yep, and then as he's starting to go more, I'm bringing him back more. So
Sounds good, man.
yeah, we did this dance all night, and
But once you know they do it, it's a lot easier.
yeah, it is.
Because I do that too. I'm like, well, I'm going to keep my guitar at like 70% so I can roll it up if I can't hear it in the monitors. But I'm not going to touch anything without telling you, you know. 'Cause that's not fair to the person running the board.
Yeah, I decided to reason with him one time. I was like, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to control the mix, and if you could not touch anything.
Yeah.
I thought that conversation was going to go, yeah, of course.
No, it
No.
didn't go well.
It didn't go well. That didn't happen. So the whole time,
It's always the guitarist too. It's
it
like,
is always the electric guitar.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I play. See, this is another thing where I didn't realize that I didn't know. My buddy Colin plays with pedals through an acoustic guitar setup, and I didn't know that you could even do that. You know, until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So now I carry pedals with me everywhere I go when I play most of the time. But we were literally at a gig at Brick House downtown Vancouver, and I was like, "Are you just playing that through the PA with your acoustic guitar? You mean I can do that? Why didn't you tell me that?" You know?
Right,
I don't know.
sure.
I should be perceptive enough to pick this stuff up, but not always. You know,
Too funny.
you don't know what you don't know.
No, and you know, I'm one of those that I will go on YouTube and research it to death until I'm like, okay, I think I somewhat have it figured out.
That's kind of where I'm at because I've been trying to do some at-home recording stuff because I have Reaper on my PC and stuff,
Nice.
but I don't know anything about anything. All I know is that my ear is better than most, which can also get me into trouble. But I've been trying to do stuff at home and record a few tracks and stuff, and it sounds good to me, but that's where I get into the sense of uncertainty because people that do this for a living, engineers and things like that have gone to school for this, know how to mix and master tracks, you know, and I don't know if I can put something out where it's like, will that be all right? Up
Yeah.
to snuff? Or, you know, is there going to be somebody in some basement studio somewhere going, what are you doing, dude?
How in the world did he release
What is
that?
going on here? But then again, we got a lot of those around. I mean, there's always different levels of recordings anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're gonna do that anyway.
I should just make it instead of questioning it. Just if you have anything you got in your head that you got to get out, just make it happen. Don't worry about what other people think. I'm bad at that.
Anything else that you have? I will continue to go on about music because as you were saying that, I'm like, I know an engineer that would go, let me stack the vocals here. And the artist would go, no. And he will respect it and go, okay, I'm not going to do it.
See, I'm open to stuff like, as an artist, you know, if you have something that might be necessarily outside the box that I'm not going to think of, I'm going to always welcome that.
So this one person I'm thinking of, they go, okay, show me what you were talking about. And he kept it. So he did it and played it. And they were like, yeah, okay, keep that.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. You're an engineer. I mean, chances are you probably know more about this than me, I would think.
Yeah, and it kind of the same thing. He saw something there that obviously I'm only there to support and have a good time, so I don't know anything about his world. But he saw something there that, yeah, just
Go with it.
yeah. But anything else that you have?
No, I just want to thank you very much for having me. man.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
Yeah. It's always good to see you. We've been friends now for years, so
I was going to say the Part-Time Perfect show was in like 2018 or 2019.
was a while.
It was a while back.
It was a while.
You know, and it's funny because time doesn't travel that way sometimes when you're thinking about it. It's like, that was a couple years ago or so. And it was like, no, that was like 5 or 6 years ago, wasn't it?
Portland Metro Records is celebrating 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is no small feat.
That snuck up on me. I'm like, there's no way it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years.
But you don't, when you're thinking about it, you know, in terms of gigs, it's a very solid line. You're like, oh, well, that gig was, gosh, that was 10 years ago.
Yep.
You know, and you don't think about it until you kind of get right into it sometimes, or at least I don't.
I think of it as venue. So my first place where we started doing live shows was Rock Hard PDX. I don't know if you ever heard them.
I remember Rock Hard PDX.
And then right after that, we had to go to Analog Theater. And then
Donnie Ryan's place.
Yep. And then where else did we go after that? I can't even remember, but I remember them from the different venues.
That was like the one gig that where we were loading in. I was actually talking to Colin and Ray about it the other day at a Part-Time Perfect gig we played there. I was loading my bass amp up the back stairwell. I don't know if you've been at that back stairwell.
I had to go there.
It's like Death Alley.
It really is.
You know, it's like 40 steps, and the angle is just far enough up to where I was carrying this 50-pound bass amp up there, and I leaned back and was gonna
Ooh.
Colin pushed me forward, and then Ray pushed him forward like a bucket brigade or something, and it was the only reason that I didn't fall back on them and put us all in the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, it's a great venue.
It's a great venue.
But the stairwell is scary.
They would also run both rooms, upstairs and downstairs, and it was surprisingly not a whole lot went through.
I didn't expect it to be that separated.
Yeah, and
because they'd have like punk shows downstairs.
Yeah, that was us. I had this one artist, acoustic, very soft. I think we had a cello and some, and then downstairs was a big punk show going on.
And you wouldn't even know.
No, I thought it did really well, not bleeding together. That was surprising.
Yeah, it's a good venue.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
But yeah, the next time I'll just bring a smaller.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for having me, Shane.
Thank
been
you.
An absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you ever need anything, I'm your guy.
I appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Till I die. You don't stand for something, ain't nothing ever gonna come your way. That's the reason why.